I read this book in one day. Could not put it down. Super satisfied with the ending. What higher praise can I give? If you like ghost stories, if you like female power stories, if you can tolerate reading some really frustrating, terrifying circumstances that can happen to a woman, especially in the 1950s. The Devil and Mrs. Davenport by Paulette Kennedy. Hello, hello. I'm Holly. I love books, I love plants, I love cats. Let's talk about it. The book takes place in 1955 Missouri, following Loretta Davenport and her Bible thumping, hypocritical, sanctimonious, drunken, bigoted husband, Pete. I didn't like Pete, if you can't tell. The first chapter of this book, and it's only 6 pages, it packs a wallop. Seriously, read the first 6 pages. I dare you to put it down. The book begins with Loretta having a fever and she's laid up in bed for a couple of days. And it's not really outright how lacking Pete is on the supportive husband front, but you get clear indicators that it's not the most supportive relationship that she's in. You also know that she has a couple of kids. There's a lot of guilt tied in with all of that. There's a lot of very subtle manipulative language used right up front by Pete. Then the last page ends with her slipping into another girl's body as she's being buried alive. Seriously, try to put the book down at this point. There's really no question throughout the book that Loretta does have some kind of ESP power. The question really becomes, how does she get to use it? How does she wield it? How is she empowered by that power? Loretta reaches out for help from a Dr. Chris Henson, at first thinking perhaps it is something in her head, a charming idea that her husband has really reinforced. You also meet Dr. Henson's sister Barbara, who is also supportive of Loretta. Honestly, I think one of the things that makes this book such a joy to read and not just become completely bogged down by the oppression that Loretta faces, it's because she does have a good support system through Dr. Henson and his sister. I honestly wonder, did the author start out with the idea of a story with Toffee's visiting everybody? I honestly don't know if the author started off with the idea of a story about a woman with ESP, or was it to tell the story of a woman living in 1950s America and all the misogyny and control that was still over women at that time? Was the catalyst a story about abusive relationships? Religious hypocrisy? This story tapped on so much, and by including this whole paranormal ghost haunting ESP portion of the story, it just brought a whole other level of delightment and engagement and frustration. There are some heartbreaking moments in this story where Loretta is watching her children have to grow up a lot faster than any child should have to and carry a lot of responsibility and shoulder a great burden, especially her older son. She realizes that he feels like he needs to protect her, and she's supposed to be the one protecting him. It's pretty sad, brilliantly done, and further added to the escalation of tension of being a woman in this period. I have no idea what I was saying. Are we done? I'm trying to talk to the people. Anyway, there are so many ways that it's brought to light just how much control was over women. Opening bank accounts, opening a lockbox, filing for divorce, claims about mental health. There are so many ways Loretta had to fight through so much. You really come to respect her as a character as she fights to realize just how abusive a relationship that she is in. I have hair everywhere, Toffee. There was a lot of action and the plot kept being driven forward. It read a lot like a thriller to me, but I felt much greater connection with the characters and their backstory and understanding their emotional journey than I tend to get when I read a thriller. There was also an overarching mystery to the story that added a whole other level of engagement, also adding to that thriller edge. Admittedly, I figured out the overarching mystery pretty early on in the story, but that did not diminish my appreciation of the story or my enjoyment in the least. If anything, I think it added to it. It's like I heard the train coming, I saw the train coming, and then I just ate my popcorn as it passed. I enjoyed the show the whole way through. There was also all of the tension and anxiety of being a woman at this time that almost push it into horror. But Loretta is incredible. She's very real. She's flawed. She fails. She wins. She gets beaten down. She gets back up. She is by no means read as this perfect character. She has so much trauma and damage and sadness embedded within her, but she fights through that to come out the other side, often because she sees her children, and her children are this driving force to make more of herself, to reclaim herself on behalf of her children. It's a beautiful story. Plus, the author incorporates this paranormal element, and ghost stories are my favorite kinds of stories. It was infuriating and terrifying, but in the end, redemption and gratifying and strengthening and powerful. It was just full of all the good things. This book had so much to say about so many aspects of society. Yes, from in the 50s, but things that can even hold true now and still resonate so strongly, which is why I think I found the book so engrossing. It was really nice that Loretta had the support of the doctor and his sister, but really, she did need that male support because of how many times she needed to have a male entity to get anything done. And it just made the horror of what that was really saying all the more prominent when you think of how many women didn't have anybody to speak up for them or be that voice for them. The women who were trapped and couldn't get out. And Loretta keeps making this commentary on this ability to see the dead, to speak to the dead. Is this a gift from God? Is this a power from God? Why should she not use it? This is something that has been given to her to help others. It was a really lovely way of approaching something that is seen as very often witchcraft within a religious community. That's not something embraced. If anyone were to have these kinds of powers, it's always seen as something of the devil. And Loretta's making that argument of, why can't this be a gift? I'm helping people. I'm helping those who have died, and I'm helping those who are left behind find answers. I'm helping bring the wrong to justice. Again, just so many beautiful, empowering messages in this book. And at the end of the day, it's a story of female empowerment, and I am 100% here for that story. For me, a very satisfying ending. Could not put it down. Cannot recommend it highly enough. Anything you'd like to add? Drop it below. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Have a beautiful rest of your day.